features the Timpview Thunderbirds.
And welcome into the D-Event Center on the campus of Weber State University, the site of the 2023 5A quarterfinals. Our matchup, the Cottonwood Colts and the Timpview Thunderbirds. So glad to have you along with us. Dusty Litster, Dane Stewart, and who's this?
Nice.
Jason Workman, I believe. Is that your name?
Yep.
Oh, there it is. We still got to figure it out.
Yeah, you guys are. I knew I shouldn't have come.
We had to set it up, and there it is. So you had it all set up for you.
The
Coach.
one, the only.
I was going to bring my own name tag, but I appreciate you guys doing that.
When you just shared that with me before we came on, I was like, "Oh, this is going to fall right into what Vince Francis and us." By the way, for weeks we've been talking about this.
Nobody understands that. It's our own joke.
Yeah.
I know. I know.
Just so everybody knows, we reach out to coaches, get them on. You're the only one we've been planning for like 3 weeks to say, well, if Workman isn't in the quarters, we're going to have him on. But, Coach, let's go into this one. The Timpview and Cottonwood, what do you know, and you know a lot about the Cottonwood Colts. What should we expect from this team?
Oh, man. I was telling somebody before, I think, if I'm going to choose a group of players to go into this tournament with everybody that's left, I go to coach a group, that's probably the group talent-wise that I would pick. They have a little bit of everything, and they've had just such a special year. Mark does a great job. He's a good friend of mine, great coach. But their talent level is extreme, and it's different than, they're not like guard heavy or big heavy. They have a little bit of everything. They're defensively, they have the size, they have the just shooting, and they have the penetration. And then Kirith, you guys have done games with him before. He's like the hardest matchup out there. So, I'm very impressed with them, especially on the offensive end.
Yeah, they're going to be very, very tough. And we'll get my comp later and see what you think of my comparison I have for him.
Okay.
Wayback Machine comp.
Yeah.
But, Dane, this Timpview T-Bird team is the Engle, one of our absolute favorites. This Timpview T-Bird team, this is a quintessential T-Bird team, but Izzy Engle has these guys firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, he does. Had a couple of real nice wins late. Got the trajectory kind of going in the right direction. They started the year off hot. Got a big win against Wasatch Academy. Thought, man, this Timpview team, they're going to be a contender in 5A. Went through some of the toughness of a season, Coach. I mean, we all do, right?
Sure.
But they're playing the right way at the right time. They got a youngster in Rukert who has really shown as a freshman. You got experience with James Russ. This is a very well-rounded Timpview lineup.
Kirith nearly with the steal. And
how about the throwback and the deflection at half court?
So in here's Rust for three.
Yeah, if he gets going, he's a special player. And what I've always liked about Rust is he's the guy that's just playing to win. He'll do a little bit of everything. He doesn't have to. So if he starts off drilling a three, it might not bode well for you because he does everything else really well as well.
Oliphant can't get the stat stuffer there. And quickly down the floor with the T-Birds. That ball goes off the hands of St. Clair. And we'll go back down the floor with the Cottonwood Colts.
I like the job going inside with Oliphant, right? Their guards and wings can be so strong, but you get that post going early, I think that sends a message.
Oh, they'll use him for sure because he's such a smart player. I've coached Aiden. He's a great post. 2 years ago he was their best shooter, their best offensive weapon, and now they don't have to use him on that end very much, but he makes the right decisions, and defensively he's a real beast as well.
Down the lane, Cox avoids the foul. Send it back out. Three from Sinclair, short, and a rebound to Kirith. Quickly on the run, transition three for Cottonwood, short by Max Russo.
I'm getting tired just watching the up and down the floor.
Yeah, that's the ultimate green light there.
Louis Lakepa couldn't get that one to go. Back down the floor with Kirith McCarr.
These two teams are going to make Matt Barnes jealous.
And there it is, Kirith. And I think that's a big thing for a team like Cottonwood. Upstart, get that first bucket, right, Coach?
Always, yeah, and that's the right guy. He makes the right decision. I love Kirith. He's a good kid, a great player. He's had an amazing year.
Oh, how about the Euro and finish? As a nice take there, that's Taki Ilui Lakepa.
That was a nice move.
And that ball goes out of bounds.
I say Cottonwood has the best starting five. Is that an overstatement? I feel like they're strong at every position on their starting lineup.
I agree. That's kind of what I was telling other people. But there are teams like I'm not as familiar with Timpview. I know Coach Engel, we've seen him with Timpanogos and last year at Timpview, and so he always does a great job this time of year. His teams are always prepared, but I do think talent-wise, I think you're right. I think that starting five is pretty versatile.
We haven't even talked about Chris Cox yet.
Right.
And how about that? Come right back down in the 3 there for Q Villa. And there's a guy, a multiple sport athlete. He plays everywhere on the football field, was a quarterback, played wide receiver, running back, as Kira come right back and gets the bucket. And I think we're going to start getting up and down.
It's going to be a fun game to watch.
Wait, we're going to start getting up and down? We haven't already?
It's going to feel like a Murray game. Your insight of this game, Coach, is going to be even better. This is the pace we're going to keep.
That's nice. Well, they're sharing the ball well too, but they're definitely, no one's been afraid of the moment or to take a shot. We've seen a lot of green light, quick triggers out here.
All right, sharing the ball. You ready for this note? Because I did the updated math this morning.
Okay.
Cottonwood on the season is assisting on 75% of their made field goals.
Right, and it starts with the guy with the ball right now. I mean, it's he makes the right decision. It's basically his goal was to lead the state in assists, and you know, as Mark has told me as a coach, he had to tell him, hey, you've got to try and do some stuff. Don't just try and get assists because he's such a hard matchup. But
Russ leaves that one short, quickly on the run. Here's Kirith McCarr. Ready for my comp here for Kirith as he crosses over, goes down the lane, will float it up, no, and then we're going to get the charge.
Yep.
So the foul to Kirith McCarr. But my comp to him, Khalid El-Amin, the old UConn point guard.
I was hoping you were going to go there. I was back watching an NCAA tournament when he was in high school in Minnesota playing in the state tournament on TV.
Oh, really?
And saw him for the first time. That's an amazing comp. That's what first thing I was thinking of. I'm the only one old enough to get that reference.
I loved Khalid El-Amin. That
I couldn't stand watching
Huskies
him
team.
because it was just like, how is he this good?
Rip Hamilton.
Right.
That team was awesome to beat Duke in the championship game. So 10-8 now. Timpview, 3 from the corner, short, and the rebound taken on the backside. Wow, Rucker just able to stay in and ends up turning it over, and it's Max Russo with the steal and the lay-in.
One more note on El-Amin, that UConn team. I was so not in it as a youngster. I thought that was like Y-U-K-O-N, not U-C-O-N-N. It took me a while to see the jersey and be like, oh, UConn.
Wow.
You didn't remember Ray Allen.
I grew up in Idaho. You got to understand.
But you see, being from Utah, Travis Knight going to UConn was a big deal. Travis Knight at Utah.
Right.
I'm not from Utah.
He was out.
That's what I'm saying. You're not from Utah.
Yeah, that you shouldn't have admitted that story, I don't think.
Come on, Coach. We're way back machine in this one,
okay,
you know.
Good, yeah.
8-0 if it ties us up at 12. I mean, he probably coached against Travis Knight, right?
As an assistant at least, it's been 33 years, so it's hard to be. It's got to be at least past Travis Knight.
So Ruckert hands that one back. Ilui Akepa as he sends that one over. 3 on the way from Rust. Won't go. Ruckert with the rebound. We're going to have a reach-in foul first. So we'll put the ball along the baseline. Haven't mentioned that our officials today, Brett Kinghorn, Jason Blumel, and Shane Singer.
And that's the thing for me that's probably the most important item for Cottonwood is can't get in foul trouble because their starting five's great. But, man, you go to that bench and you lose a lot of skill.
Well, it's like the game we just saw, the Olympus game, right? You know, they're only playing 6 guys. You know, so in moments like that, it becomes a big issue to keep your guys clear of fouls and not in trouble and not have to change your game plan because they're elite starting five for sure.
As Rust hits the first. Been a 3-year contributor here for Rust, and I'm sure someone will reach out and say it was 4, but I know there's a football coach watching.
He was on that roster, so it was 4, but
4,
he's been playing.
I feel like forever he's been there. And it's funny you have those guys that you feel like it has been at certain schools for at least 7 years, and Rust is certainly one of those guys.
Yeah, he's always been I always like him because, you know, as a coach, you like players like that. He's basically a point forward, you know. I mean, Russ could play point guard for you if he had to just because his decision-making and just makes the right play.
Cross court, here's Kirith. Going to send that ball back up top and reset the offense here for Max Russo as we near the 10-second mark on the shot clock. Trying to fit that into Cox. Ball's loose and taken away by Timpview.
Yeah, they've done a good job of limiting his touches, that's for sure. Chris is a volume scorer, and they've done a good job of not letting him get too many touches.
Villa sends that one back. It's Rust from the corner and got the 3.
Well, James Rust, he is making the most of his senior year, isn't he? 7 points in this first quarter for James.
That size is really impressive, and they're three-point shooters. They're out on the perimeter a lot.
Rousseau pulls on the 3, doesn't get it. Rebound to Oliphant, sends it back out. Fresh shot clock for Cottonwood. Worked in the corner. Chris Cox for 3. 6'7" and can shoot it.
This is going to be fun because, Russo's not going to stop shooting. I know he hasn't hit yet, but he can heat up faster than anybody out here, and this could be a lot of fun. There's a lot of threes going up tonight.
The foul on the floor going to be called on Jackson Price.
They are sharing the fouls. So Price with 1, Cox 1, Kierith with 1, Oliphant with 1.
Very good for Cottonwood, yeah.
At number 21, Peter Okwama.
So 3 team fouls to Cottonwood, only 1 to Timpview. Is it nearly? Oh, Cox. We met him, and you obviously know him, but we met him. Dan goes, "You really are 6'7".
I was like, I think you might be telling him 6'7".
You're the one that tells the truth.
There's no roster lie on that one.
I learned things I learned this week. I did not know, like, Bill Walton lied about his height, that he was actually taller than he actually listed. That Kareem Abdul-Jabbar actually underlisted himself as well. He didn't want to be known as a 7-footer.
Yeah.
Thing. Did not like it. As they send that ball in the corner, 3 on the way, won't go for Villa. And down the floor we go. He tried to draw that 3-point foul, did not get it. As Rousseau, high post, sent back out. That was Okwama that checked in as Rousseau had that one knocked away from behind. Nice hands there by Rust.
Well, Timpview does about as good a job as anybody about using zones this time of year.
And the 3, or probably the bucket there for Lua Akepa.
Man, Taki's been very aggressive today for Timpview, 6 points.
Send to the corner, Chris Cox off on the 3, the rebound to Rust. Timpview looking to get up 2 possessions. As Quezon will back things out.
I haven't seen them play as much this year, but they a lot of 5 out, really spread the floor, and they've shot a lot of threes.
Rucker hasn't even got going yet. I don't know that he's taking a shot.
Right.
Here's Q, leaves it back. Taki for 3. Can't get it. Rebound. Still loose. How about Tiff? You get on the floor. That was out of bounds.
Yeah.
As Mr. Official was right there, Shane Singer.
I thought it could have been a travel call there, but same thing.
So 26 seconds left. Don't know the Cottonwood hold for the final shot. It's not really their game to come down here and run a long set.
Well, he'll tell them to. But whether they do it or not right now is. But with this zone, I would imagine that they will.
Mark is standing a lot more today compared to other games we've done of Cottonwoods this year.
Well, they have a football staff of assistant coaches, so he doesn't have anywhere to sit.
Only to be rivaled by Skyridge girls basketball. They got about 13 assistants. There's 3 seconds, shot from the corner. Okwama got it to go. I thought maybe it got blocked, but no. That's how the first quarter ends, and we are tied up at 18. At the end of 1, Cottonwood and Timpview all knotted up. You're watching the 2023 5A quarterfinals on KSLSports.com.
At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs.
Simply complete an application on your phone or computer and select the low-rate option you prefer.
And then sit back and enjoy the peace of mind that comes from knowing you have a low-rate line of credit. Ready for whatever life throws at you.
To learn more or start your application, visit uccu.com or stop by any branch.
And welcome back in. Dusty Litster, Dane Stewart, Jason Workman with you. And we want to thank Modern Missionary for joining us as a sponsor here on KSL Sports Rewind's coverage of the state tournament. Again, it's almost Mission Call opening season. And if you got a missionary you're going to get ready to go out in the mission field, go to Modern Missionary, go register your missionary, and get a free shirt and washable tie. And we want to thank Modern Missionary for joining us on our coverage as Chris Cox opens up the quarter, knocking down the jumper.
Yeah, that's a dangerous team to play a 2-3 zone against because of that very thing right there. Chris is 6'7" and very capable of hitting that shot at a high rate.
In a game like this, you might watch a bunch of film coaches. You're trying to learn. You say, hey, we're going to throw a couple things, see what it does, and then find out what works, or no?
Oh, right. Well, and I know Coach Engel, he mixes up defenses a lot. He does a master job of giving you different looks all the time. That's why I think he's had a very successful tournament season no matter where he's been. He's always been good this time of year, and that's partly why he's very prepared, and he'll give you a different look. And
he learned from a good one, right? Tony Engel, his dad, a legendary
Absolutely.
Assistant coach forever and a head coach, Kennesaw State.
Georgia.
Sadly passed away just about a year ago, and one of the good ones is the Engel.
Absolutely.
Or Tony Engel. And the board and bucket there for James Rust, and man, Dane, James Rust he's announced his presence with authority today.
Yeah, he has 9 points, and I'll tell you, one of the things that Cottonwood has not gone up against is the length that Timpview presents, and it's giving them problems right now. And you talk about second, third chance opportunities. I was going to ask, Coach, how do you get Chris Cox going? Because I've looked for him in the corner, and I like going high post there, but do you try to get him the ball earlier and let him create?
Right. I think the way they're defending it, they're smart. They're not kind of allowing for that. You know,
Okay.
with the zone looks that they're giving him, it's going to be hard for him to create. He's going to have two guys on him the second he tries. But I think the high post move was a really smart move to get him in that open area in the floor, and it doesn't have to be a three. That's really good for him because he's such a pure scorer. His post fade might be the best in high school right now. If you get him in the mid-range and let him turn around and fade away, he's unbelievably efficient at that shot.
Takiulu Kepa could not get that one to go. Quickly back the other way. Price finds Oliphant. Left hand would not go, and no call on that contact down low. And now on the run with Timpview. Vila, 4-3. Play multiple sports, kids.
That was actually St. Clair.
Oh, that was St. Clair. My bad. They had the same hair.
Eli, okay. Yeah, that was a nice pass last time down. Aiden will be upset that Oliphant missed that shot. Jackson Price made a very good dish on that play. Well, there's the ISO you were talking about right there to get Chris involved.
The point still stands. Still play multiple sports, even if that wasn't QVL. You can see that foul here. Russ thought it was all ball, and money is that motion, right? Those officials are always going to seem to call if you're coming down on that ball,
right,
even if you hit it sometimes.
Correction on the personal foul, number 35, James Rust. It's his first.
Got a little capture item. It's 23-20. Sometimes technology, you know.
Yeah. Data entry is always tough. We have not set a world record for points, but Cox does not get the floater to drop. 23-20 our score. As we got a shot on the way. Takiulu Kepa could not get that one to go, and now quickly down the floor with Conway. That ball turned over. And then we'll have a foul in transition. The foul's going to be charged to Oliphant, his second. And that's going to put Timpview at the line.
And that's a big call. I mean, it's for their interior defense. It runs around Oliphant.
Yeah, and Coach Miller staying with them here. And I think it speaks to your point, Coach, right? You can't afford to lose him against the length of Timpview.
Right. I would not be surprised, though, if he changes defenses and gives a zone look or something to keep him on the floor. No, he's coming.
Yeah,
he's coming
is.
out.
He is.
Cottonwood substitutions, number 21, Peter Okwama.
So Okwama comes back on after hitting the three to close out the first quarter. As get our score bug fixed. As Gremlins just run rampant here sometimes at the event center. Ball out of bounds and will be Cottonwood basketball. Coach, what do you think of your broadcast debut? I know we're still in the first half.
Well, I'm trying to not do it very much. You know, I was told not to do this by my wife because the word she used was cringe.
No way.
Cringe?
Yeah.
No
Well,
way.
She's seen me do interviews before, so that's
The good thing
why.
is the long form makes it so much easier than when you're trying to do a soundbite.
Right.
It really is. It's a much different deal. As Izzy wants to travel. That's not a travel. That was a foul.
No, it's fun. I'm gonna sit there and talk with my guys watching games anyway, so I might as well do it right here. As long as we
By
do
the
it same
way, your assistant coaches are. I mean, those are the teammates you need. They're delivering food to you. I mean, I don't know if you use Uber Eats or what, but I mean, that's just that's a guy knowing who his boss is.
and he paid for it too.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You know, Dane did the same thing. Good teammates are hard to find.
Right, I agree.
And then our teammate, Vince Francis' wife, Taylor, who just had her birthday. Again, happy birthday once again to Taylor. Gave us both little snack bags today, full of all kinds of stuff.
Oh, there you go. It's a long day.
As inside, Christopher Cox got that one to go.
Nice play. That was a good set. They ran to get him on the baseline. That was well designed.
And it's amazing to think, because a lot of times you play Timpview, you think, well, where Cottonwood had advantages, and Christopher Cox is just a mismatch no matter the team they're going to play.
Right. Right, and that's why I think they have the advantage, talent-wise, personnel-wise, because I think Kirith, for his position, and Chris Cox are both mismatches regardless of the team out there.
And it's interesting to see this game, and I wish we would have had a shot clock back in the day. He's very Gavin Baxter-ish.
Right.
Very similar. Baxter in high school. Oh, St. Clair for 3.
And you kind of gamble helping down like that with Russo. Just couldn't get back quick enough.
Oh, Guama with the putback off the miss from Price.
They're getting a lot out of him off the bench.
Yeah, they are.
5 points now for Oguama. Taki sends out 3 on the way from Ruker. Got it. And now the 3 balls falling for the T-Birds.
Killing Cottonwood right now.
That is very good. They're over-helping a little bit and creating easy opportunities from the 3 line, and Timpview is very willing to take them, and they're showing that that's what they've done this year. A lot of good 3 numbers I've seen.
I mean, Coach, do you call that help off? I mean, did you say, hey, we got to just go straight man? I can't leave shooters.
A lot of man-to-man coaches, what we'll try to do is we'll try and stunt and recover, So you you jab at them, you stunt, and you get back. So you fake the help and to slow that dribble down, and then but you don't actually go.
Aluya Kepa, nice tackle on the baseline, and a timeout to Coach Miller. As Timpview starting to find themselves. 3:31 left in the half. It's T-Birds 31, Colts 24. You're watching the 2023 5A quarterfinals on KSLSports.com. So welcome back into the D-Event Center, and as always, our coverage brought to you by Heidemann and Associates. Go to utah.law to find the law office nearest you, and if you're a Timpview T-Bird, there's no excuse not to go to Heidemann and Associates if you need any help, because they're headquartered right in the river bottoms.
Street, yeah.
Right down the street from Days Market. As on the drive and lay in there is Price.
He's very explosive. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen him in the open floor get up and throw down on somebody, but he is a lot of bounce in that.
He's like another Price that's prevalent from
Seen the off the backboard attempts as well. I mean, he can throw down with the best.
Right.
I think you saw that, right? The Cottonwood.
I was at that game.
Have one?
Correct.
Yeah. You were at that. You were at that game. Yeah.
I was at that game.
Yeah.
Oh, they got McCarr wanting to take a charge and go right around him, and Ruker now starting to find his offensive rhythm. Kirith gets in the lane and then draws the foul on Taki Uluikepa and takes a little bump for the road there from Mr. Official, but we're going to look at that last bucket.
Foul on number 0, Taki Uluikepa.
Well, that's so hard because, Kirith is trying to draw the charge there, and you just step around. You can't slide at all, right? It's like,
and that's why I want the restricted area in high school basketball.
I have heard that before.
Hey, Coach, you've been around long. You know, I went after it for 3 officials because when we started it was only 2.
Right.
And then I wanted a shot clock. That took a long time. We got it.
Right.
And I just wanted a restricted area. That's all I'm at.
Here's the lesson. Whatever Dusty wants, Dusty gets.
Hey,
it might take a decade, but he'll get it.
Hey.
Whatever's working. I want you to add to your list, on this RPI stuff, a couple things. You got to get this RPI. We've
all right,
got
give us the list. Give us the list.
Stop playing region teams in the first round of the state tournament.
Yeah.
And give the region champions something, whether it's a bye
you
or
ready?
A first seed.
I got you.
Those are 2 easy changes you can make.
Coach, I got you.
I appreciate
Here's
it.
what we do, all right? Go to a 16-team tournament.
Right.
Region champs get an auto bid, but they're slotted at their RPI position.
As Kepa misses on the 3, and it's out of bounds.
I don't mind that. I like that as long as if you can also tweak seed lines so they don't. So first rounds don't
tournament
play.
Does that, right?
Yeah.
The challenge is, I think the UHSA says we don't want there to be an appearance like we're manipulating the tournament. So they've stuck straight to RPI, right? To your point, I'd love to say, all right, yeah, let's not have region matchups in the first round. At some point, you have to have them, right? But there are brackets where it's like you don't play a non-region team.
Right.
And that's where it's like, ugh.
Well, the Lone Peak girls, right?
Yeah.
They played the region, turn right around and play Corner Canyon, go play Westlake after a bye.
Right.
Well, this year you had Brighton, Skyline, Olympus all in the same bracket, and they were all 3 going to have to play each other regardless of what happened. So we're guaranteed a region team in the Final 4, but we were also guaranteed only 1 because they were all going to beat each other to get there.
Yep.
So that was but you can't avoid it. It's
sure,
just, but
it's got to happen
in the
at some
first
point.
round. In the first round, you can avoid it with a little bit of work, and that's what I.
I think shrinking it to 16 or back to 16 may avoid that a little bit. You might have an 8-9. I guess whatever that number would be. Dane's smarter than me. 6-7. As that 3 is there for Kirith McCarr. And there we go. Here comes Cottonwood down 2. There's Rukert. Sends back out to Rust. Rust breaks it down, sends out St. Clair, who's got 6 points in the quarter, sent over. Villa, no. Rebound. As Cox knocked that out, fresh shot clock here for the T-Birds. St. Clair gets around the defenders. Kirith knocked that ball out of bounds.
Can we just talk about versatility? Kirith is playing the 5 in this zone defense.
Right.
Oliphant's off the floor. We're going to move our point guard down and put him in the middle.
Exactly. Well, he's strong enough. And he can rebound, and he can use his body so well. That's good. They still are, doing a lot of over-rotating, and they just missed a couple draw and kick threes like this one here. It wasn't the defense didn't change as much, but they missed a couple shots. So I think it's a little kind of a risk on how much they're having to help on that dribble drive.
Well, you're banking on law of averages, right? Guys, they're not going to shoot 60% from beyond the arc all game, and if they do, we'll tip our cap, right?
Right. But in the high school game, I don't think you want to give open threes. It's almost one of your top goals.
Although here's a question for you, because you've coached and you've had great shooters come through your program. Is there a line challenge when you come to these venues? I mean, there's 2 lines, right? We've seen it.
For sure.
How have you coached around that?
Well, we've seen it already today.
Right.
In this game right here, how many people are stopping and shooting a little too far back? We did it last year. It's coming. I mean, some kids are capable of doing it, but you might have 4 out of 5 starters that are very capable of hitting a 3, but you might have 1 out of 4 that's capable of hitting a deep 3.
Do you pull a shooting pass on a kid that's struggling to recognize?
Well, you definitely talk about where that line is before the game. You definitely say, hey, this is a common issue that you're going to see that and want to go there. So it's kind of got to be on their heads, which you don't want them thinking about too much. But I think that's an important part because your shot attempts that's an important part.
This one was Q Villa. How about that play?
That's a great job by Price, though. Yeah. Right? Stays in front, never commits the foul, challenges without fouling.
That's what I was just going to say. I thought it was defended very well. It was just a great shot.
Yeah, a little better offense than defense.
Just like that the Euro step from Rukert. That's good defense, but sometimes they're going to make a great move.
Shot clock's turned off as Kirith McCarr goes at it. Hangs, crawls off. Wide channel basketball failed him. And an opportunity here for Timpview. Good points. Rust sends to the corner. Villa as the time closes, no. Osuma not going to have enough on that one. Oh, maybe the bounce. Is that what goes by the wayside? But it's a good close for Timpview. We go to the half. It is the Timpview T-Birds 35, Cottonwood 33. You're watching 2023 5A quarterfinals. Halftime score, Timpview 35, Cottonwood 33. Let's go back to the Vince Francis happy hour, making fun of Dane and Dusty.
You know, I have helped them winning back-to-back championships by not picking them. I know a lot of people in Beaver are upset with me. Beaver, I got a little something special for you.
Oh, man, my wife would love to get me that way. My wife would love to get me that. Oh, my heavens. And you have a sweetheart wife. Even
there you go.
In there nice.
Congratulations on a 2020 championship. You can be hangry all you want if that's what's going to drive you. Congratulations to the Beaver Beavers. I'll wear this one.
Oh, Dane Stewart, always good for a prop move.
By the way, this is not apples. Someone said, how you like them apples? It's razzleberry. It's pretty good. Not quite like apples, but the razzleberry, it'll do.
At least in one way, you got what you wanted. Let's go through those are the fun ones. Dusty getting attacked by bees and Dusty voice cracking on a voiceover that was never supposed to be heard. Mistake.
My only comment to that one is that had to be a family member, but my wife would have got a little bit more aggressive with
his
that.
wife is so sweet.
She is very sweet.
She doesn't swat flies. She like catches them and she walks them outside and like lets them go. And
she's very sweet, and she's probably gonna laugh that she made the stream today. But yeah, that was one where it's like, hey, do we have any pies in the fridge? And we just happened to, and it was a razzleberry. And she's like, why? And I'm like, well, I'm gonna need your help a little bit. And I'll tell you, I got lit up on social for not picking Beaver, and they won a state championship. But I'll tell you, like, I've earned more friends off taking a pie in the face than I ever would have thought. So,
and here's the thing: is the 180 that happened because the first person who started picking Beaver
was
me.
Yeah.
And now they're all like, Dane loves Beaver.
Well, Dusty, all you got to do is take a pie in the face, and they'll be on your side too. I mean, it's not that hard.
He pins their name to his shirt and all kinds of stuff when we do picks now.
Oh.
But we get ready for the second half, Coach. I mean, let's go first. The reason I keep going to Cottonwood, you played him a couple times, you know him really, really well. If you're Cottonwood here in the second half, if you're Mark Miller and you're coming out of halftime, what are the things that you're focusing on with your boys here in the second half?
Well, I think the way Timpview plays, if I'm coaching Cottonwood right now, I said I want to make sure that we just stay in front, don't go chase and let them. They want to spread the floor, drive, draw, and kick, and you want to not have to help as often as you can. So if you can stay in front of your own guy and not have to help, then they don't get those easy kick-out opportunities. Now, it's easier said than done, but with their size, you ought to be able to gap them a little bit and do that. And I think playing that way also helps you keep, Aiden and your guys out of foul trouble a little bit. So that would probably be my focus, that they're used to going up and down and being a little bit more aggressive. But I think that's because Timpview can go on a streak and hit some of those threes that they were missing in the second quarter, and you'd be in real trouble.
Kieran Bakar with the hang in the finish.
He's the first scorer now in double figures. The balance today has been really impressive by both sides. There you go, Coach.
Right.
Louis Kepa with the triple and a 3-point lead.
And that's the other thing that really jumps out when you look at the first half stats. Of Timpview's 29 field goals, 16 of them were threes. Live, die by the three. Right now they're living by it.
Right.
Russo missed on the floater, and the three goes over the top. And it'll be Timpview basketball.
And he needs to take the next one. He's a very good shooter, and you see him hang his head on that one. But I hope he takes the next one just like that one, because that's what Cottonwood's going to need on the offensive end.
Did you see the Fremont Eric Fort game yesterday? I don't know if you had a chance to watch that one.
I saw some of the second half.
You saw the three-point shooter Hogan. I mean, they just kept going to him. His teammates just kept him out. Hey, just keep going.
And he found it.
He started finding it. Hit 4 threes. I mean, his percentage might not be there, but they said, hey, this is the one way we're going to go. You're our guy that's going to shoot the threes. Like almost like in softball, you're the designated home run hitter after you hit it. Like you're our guy as Rukert misses on the triple.
Well, you said it. It was their teammates that impressed me.
Yeah.
The fact that their teammates kept going back to him I thought was outstanding. It showed that, hey, these guys are playing to win. These kids are smart enough to realize that he's going to get it going if we create that for him. I thought that was a really good a test to their program.
Yeah, I thought because he had one back rim, they got a rebound and handed it right back to him like it was change.
Yep, I saw that play.
As Cox misses on the fall away, here comes Ulu Kepa. Ulu Kepa hands back to James Rust. And Rust turns into the key, sends back out Rukert. 4-3. Drive and dish.
Yeah, they do a great job of holding on to the ball until you do help. I say you want to gap and keep in front of you, but they kind of stay with their one-on-one move until you help and then kick out to those threes. So that makes it difficult on the defense because they eventually sent everybody and left a guy open.
They say the third on cue.
Yeah. And I think it was a tough one there. That's why I wanted to show that. I wanted to get one more look. And Villa, I'm not sure what he's supposed to do there so much. It didn't look like he even impeded it. Did you see it different?
And the hard thing is he's playing Kirith to his left, right? Mm-hmm. And Kirith forces that back with the right hand.
I thought he's been caught a couple times on that where it looked like really good defense to me, but just because Kirith creates that body contact in that motion, the refs go for that sometimes. It's
now, are you a yeller on the sideline?
I am, but no one hears me. I don't have a very good voice, and so I get away with it more than anybody else does because no one ever hears me. Unfortunately, my players don't hear me either.
Do you have a good whistle? I haven't noticed.
I do have a whistle. I do have a good whistle.
You could stomp. That's been a popular technique. No, not a stomper.
Quincy Lewis.
It's not popular in the right way. I'm not.
Okay.
I've talked to enough officials that I'm going to avoid the stomp.
All right.
I'll say this: Quincy Lewis. He knows I always call him a stomper, but Quincy. That's how he calls plays. Every time when I think of Quincy Lewis, I think Quincy Lewis stomping his right foot and holding up 4. Hey.
I'm gonna use Morse code with the stomps, right?
I've seen it.
I asked him once, right after he came back to Lehigh, my first game there, I said, Coach, you got to ask a question. He goes, how many pairs of shoes did you go through back in the day? He goes, you remembered this? And I was like, Quincy, in my head, you're stomping your foot and holding up 4 fingers.
I can still hear it.
And he said he went through multiple pairs of shoes a year, and his wife, it drove her crazy. And I always joke, I've seen him wear Cole Haans. You can't stomp through Cole Haans. Those are Nike soles.
Well, I should start stomping for whatever worked for Quincy.
It's worked really well, right?
Yes.
That has been the secret.
Yeah, it hasn't it hasn't hurt.
Oh, Rust, he took Kirith right on his own ride there.
Yeah.
Coming down the right side, switches hands and draws the foul.
Exact same type of play.
Well, I know that, popular call, hands down, man down, right? And you see that hand, there's no verticality there. I can go right up through that. Way they're fishing, I'm going to the line. That's a heady play by James Rust.
Right. It's all created by him, but you can't get out of the way fast enough to not get that called a foul.
Yeah. Because the moment you back out, you're just acceding the 2 points.
Right.
And to the old Jerry Sloan thing. Beisel foul, make him earn 2. And shoot it twice.
It was a well-designed clear out. They really cleared that whole side of the floor for him to take advantage of that and, knowing that James is their guy.
And Rust goes 0 for 2 from the stripe. A rare 0-2.
Right. Very fortunate for Cottonwood.
I always talk about this end when they don't draw the curtains on that. It makes it hard. It makes a little depth perceptions off down there. All these guys are used to shooting in the gym with an accordion door behind the backboard. Right. When you take that away, it just doesn't work. Straight away from Russo.
Yeah, he had a little hesitation on that one.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they ran a set specifically for that. I think they're going to need to get him going.
So Rust sends it back up top to St. Clair, who had 2 threes in the second quarter. That gave Timpview a little bit of a breathing room. Still hard to see Izzy Engel on the sideline, not say Timpanogos, and I go to say Tim. Russ goes back up top to Villa, sends over St. Clair.
Well, we played him in the state tournament for both teams, so it's not hard for me, but he sure does a good job at, like I said, this time of year.
It was your quarterfinal game a year ago, right, against Timpview?
Yeah, and then with that 2 years earlier as well.
Yeah. Oh, nice take and make by Price. Looked like Ronnie Price a little bit there.
2 years earlier, it was the first year of the new RPI thing. We actually played them when they were the 5 seed on their home floor. So that was different.
You know, the other thing Timpview's not really allowed today is for Cottonwood to get out on the break. They didn't have a fast break point in the first half. No. The Timpview D's raced back all game long.
Well, that take and make. As Cox comes back the other way, draws the foul. Oh, traveling violation first. And we're going to go back a little bit of that last bucket for Timpview. All the way Russ finishes through this. And the no call.
Yeah, they could have done that right at the basket as well.
I love not over-officiating, right?
Yeah.
Like,
now, will it stay that way if this game is tight down the last minute becomes the thing? If it's not a foul now, it shouldn't be a foul 30 seconds left in a tight ball game.
Right, and unfortunately, it usually ends up being the other way around. They will make some of those calls at the end, and it usually has a little bit too much of an impact on the end of the games.
Down the baseline, send to the corner, 3 on the way. And, we're going to have a 3-point foul here on Kirith. Number 3 on Kirith. Let's see if we got this. Intern Preston said he thought he got it.
Oh, he hit him down low. Wow.
Hey, while we're shooting 3 free throws, can I ask you a question, Coach?
Sure.
4-year player in Chudy.
Right.
What was it like seeing his growth from a freshman to a senior? Have you ever seen a player develop that much over that span of time?
Yeah, but it's a different. It's a little bit different just because he was already such a good scorer and it's such a high level ranked player that to watch a kid that's already that good and that well known continue to improve incrementally. It was impressive. It was fun to see, and he's got to be the best 3-level scorer out there in the high school game right now. And he's he got 6'5" and length and all the things the colleges love too as well. So yeah, it was crazy to see it every day personally.
Well, and because for me it feels like freshman year he's kind of the 6-7 points per game, and that's freshman, right? I get it. But man, that junior year, like the burst he makes, and then senior, all of a sudden we're dropping 30 points night in, night. I was like, my goodness,
right?
Came on.
It came on. Well, he put a lot of time in, obviously. In shooting his perimeter shot got so much better the last 2 years. In particular this year, his 3-point shot was the best it was all 4 years with this year. And with a lot more attention defensively, obviously people were paying to him, and he did a good job with that. And he had some. I haven't had players in the past, 46-point game.
Right, right.
That's, you got to do something to score that many points in a game.
That's Frank Jackson stuff.
Right.
That's what Frank did his junior and senior year.
Or Nadal, Murray gets 50 in a state tournament game.
Hey, but you got to win.
We did win.
That was a heck of a ball game.
It was.
What's funny is a 3 from Price rolls in. But Chudy's put on Instagram that he'll make his decision. He's asking for people's opinion, too. He's putting out a poll.
Idaho, Chudy.
Where do you think I should go? Idaho was not on the list. I apologize.
Chudy, come on, man.
It wasn't? I actually thought it was.
It was on there. I'll show Dane. We'll go check the story here in a second.
I try to stay off social.
UVU's on there as well.
Go Vandals. Go Vandals. Chudy, come on.
The founder of Louis Kepa.
Yeah, he's like, I wish he wouldn't be on social media as much, but I'm extremely happy for him. I think he's taking his visits now as soon as the season was over, so he's got some good options out there for him.
Well, hey, not to pull you from Murray, because I love having you at Murray, but Idaho's got a head coach job opening. You want a
head coach job opening up there?
Yeah, you want to go
Would
up
you
there?
love to live in Moscow?
Bring Chudy up and
Moscow,
just keep
Idaho.
this thing going, huh?
There you go.
I guess they go by Moscow, not Moscow.
I know that I could not do that because of the recruiting time commitments that are in the high school game.
No, see, that's the beautiful thing. Idaho doesn't recruit for basketball. So, I mean, there's no you don't – it works, Coach.
Can you take shots like that?
I'm a fan.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
he's a fan.
I've lived the misery for 40 years. Right. Yes, I can.
Right.
New facility, by the way. If you haven't seen the
Beautiful.
new arena.
I have not.
Hold on, Dane's got it.
Here we go.
At the line is Oliphant. And, he rips out the first, has one more.
Well, they're going to need these guys to step up. That was a big shot by Jackson Price, and guys like that with Max not hitting his 3-ball today, they're going to need some of these guys to step up and keep this game tight.
Goes 0 for 2.
That could be your new home, Coach.
That is not bad at all.
Right.
Well, you guys put in a good word for me. And
I will.
I'll entertain the idea.
And the great thing is you can go do the Rocky run from Rocky 4 because that's where it was filmed. And so sending up top to Rust.
Did not know that. Of course, I'm not very good on my Moscow, Idaho trivia.
Rocky 4 trivia for me. I don't.
Okay.
First of all, it's the Harvard of the Northwest.
Yeah.
The pea and lentil capital of the world as well. So I'm just saying.
Which one are they more proud of?
Well, most proud of the Kibbe Dome. It's right down the street, man.
Able to get that board back. Now the foul on the reach. We're going to have a foul before. Well, it won't be free throws either. We're going to put time back on the. It was a shot clock violation. So
no, it was a foul.
Well, the buzzer went off on the shot clock violation, and we'll have a foul on the baseline. I hadn't looked at the clock, and for that moment there, I'm like, wait, is that already in the third? And pop up, and minute 28 left. Fresh shot clock.
I kind of wish we would get back into that free flow. I loved the first half so well. It seems like it's just a lot of whistles and some free throws here in this third quarter.
And the whistles going against Cottonwood not going to help him because that's the third now on Price.
Well, Price kind of just shot his shot here a little early. See right there, as soon as he does that, I mean, you've handed the foul over, and that's now the 4th team foul on the Colts.
Well executed.
And the bucket there to James Rust.
They're athletes in size. That's a hard out-of-bounds play to defend.
That's what Cottonwood usually does. It's very rare for them to get that on the other end, right?
Come back the other way as Nielsen hands off to Price. Price down the lane, left hand, and got it. Nice take and make there from Jackson Price.
He has really stepped up in this third quarter, and they needed him to. He's keeping a minute right now.
Absolutely. That might be the difference until these other guys get going.
Yep.
St. Clair misses on the 3, and the rebound in the hands of Oliphant. It's a chance to make it a one-possession game here for Cottonwood. In the third quarter, it's not quite gone their way as Christopher Cox on the drive hangs, left it short.
That was good defense. Step in front of him, ready to take that charge, and changed his eye.
Yeah, that last step is just like,
he kind of changed his mind there.
Yeah, right.
He was going to send down. He's like, I'll shoot it.
The way the whistle's been going, I would have, if I'm Coach Miller, I would have liked for him to Euro right in between him and try and draw that foul instead of avoid it. But like I told you before, he's very good at that little fade shot, so I can't fault him too much for taking it. He's scored a lot of points by doing that same thing.
About a 3-second difference between game clock and shot clock. Shot clock to 7.
Ooh, that's pretty risky for already having 3 fouls.
Down to 3. And you're going to get Kirith on the... Yeah, Kirith, that's number 4 on Kirith. McCarr running through the screen there. That's a big one, and that's going to bring Rousseau back on the floor.
Yeah, I do think he was playing that entire possession a little bit too aggressive. I saw at the beginning out on the ball, get your hands off people, but the actual call that got the foul, I'm not as big a fan of.
Timeout called by Timpview.
Well, timeout to Izzy Engel with 5.4 seconds left in the third. We'll go ahead and keep it here because they're going to be going to break. They don't do this on TV enough. They'd be taking both timeouts. Now, granted, I sold commercials. I understand it. So, but we'll stay here. But, Coach, the way this third quarter's gone, I don't want to keep talking Cottonwood. If you're Izzy Engel, what are you happy with what they've seen if you're a coach here in the third quarter for the T-Birds?
Well, you're happy that your team has kept up its aggressiveness, and you've got them in foul trouble because they've been able to ISO different players and attack and have success drawing fouls and kicking to open shooters. The only frustration for him would be it's a little bit risky in that, like you're saying, live or die with the 3. When you have those stretches when the 3 doesn't go in, you're letting them stay in the game, but I think he's got to be pleased with his defensive effort and the fact that everybody's playing with such a high level of confidence and attacking. I would be.
3
Another open 3
at the horn, doesn't go. And that'll do it for the third quarter. We go to the fourth quarter, and it's Timpview leading Cottonwood 48-43. The winner moves on to the semifinals on Friday. We'll be right back. You're watching the 2023 5A quarterfinals on KSLSports.com, your online home for championships. Start of the fourth quarter, Dusty Litster. Dane Stewart, Coach Jason Workman with you, is along the baseline. Nice find to Oliphant and got the bucket. Nice way to open up the fourth quarter for Cottonwood, making one possession game.
Excellent. That was a nice pass. Got deflected, almost didn't convert it, but it was a very good play.
Send the ball in the corner. Villa sends to Rust, now on the angle with Ruckert on the drive. Ruckert flowed up too strong. Rebound, second chance. Villa pumps on the three, drives hard, and one.
Wow, that's an athletic move right there.
Well, and that all starts because that defense all collapsed down on that initial drive, and then you get the kick out, and now you're in scramble mode. And look, I mean, just late to get there. Heck of a baseline move there by Q.
I thought they defended that one a little bit better. It was more not converting on the rebound. Giving up that offensive rebound created that open. That's the hardest thing to defend, a three-pointer off an offensive rebound. And, lucky for Timpview, he didn't take the three. He just drove it, got fouled.
The young man made big plays in the football season, including the semifinals. As there's Rousseau, and sometimes you always think the three-point shooting is a three. He just sees the ball go through the hoop and got that one there.
Like, I'm just thinking that maybe that'll get him going. It's because it's a confidence thing. Shooting is a lot of confidence, and that's what they need from him.
Boy, it's one possession. It doesn't feel like
it.
It doesn't. The momentum does not feel that way.
It's a lot like a different version, but a lot like that AF Fremont game yesterday. It's like, wow, this is still closer than you think. Well, that feels anyway.
Right.
St. Clair backs out, now drives to Oliphant. Hangs, no, rebound loose. Rousseau able to save it. No, he stepped out of bounds.
And this is so interesting because you got a guy kind of boxing out, and it's like, how's this not a moving screen inside the paint? I mean, you're basically pushing Nielsen completely off the play and taking him out of any defending position.
Yeah, when contact is allowed is always a big question for me, and some of the ones they choose I'm not a big fan of. Too much hands-on contact on the dribbler, and then they'll let people get away with that contact underneath the basket. It's like, or they'll call it under the basket, but they won't call it out.
You're not allowed that much contact on a box out, let alone when a player's driving to the space you're clear. I was just surprised.
So out up top with Rust. Can come off the screen from Ruckert. Rust pirouette inside, send to the corner. Q Villa off on the three and rebound to Price.
Yeah, if you're Timpview, man, they're getting good looks off of that help and kickouts. They just have hit a cold stretch.
Oh, Ruckert with the block. Send back out. Cox with the second chance. No. And the rebound cleared by Q Villa. You see the athleticism coming in for that board.
It's a good look for Cox.
Right. I think both teams have got the shot they wanted. They just they haven't made the open threes in this recently.
Takiulu Kepa, he was frustrated with this call. See if we can get a look here.
I think the feet shuffled right as he picked it up.
It had to be early.
Yeah.
He thought the wrong foot was the pivot foot?
I thought his pivot was fine.
Yeah.
So it must have been early.
So come back.
Kirith on the floor here.
Nice read.
Cox on the take, and we're going to have a blocking foul here. And they're put on Q Villa, not on. Is number 4? They got him with 3.
I thought they called out third on the last time, so that's my bad.
Yeah, that's okay.
No, I love that set. They were actually running that set for a three-point play on this wing. And Timpview defended it really well, scouted it really well, and he slipped it. The screener slipped it from the elbow down the lane. It was a great read by Kirith to make that pass because it was supposed to go to the three-point shooter.
And Cox goes in line, hits both free throws. It's a 1-point game with 5:45 left in the fourth quarter. And Coach, you're about to experience the fun of a broadcast when the games are close. It is all we want. Is Ruckert off on the three, and now a chance to take the lead for Cottonwood. Kirith McCarr going to back things up.
Which is what you want. You want people, this is, 5 minutes in a quarterfinal game. Who's going to make plays?
Kirith, there is contact. I'd like the no call, too, as Villa hit the floor. Didn't get the charge, didn't get the block either. And and call that ball out of bounds. And I know Coach Mark Miller's like, hey, I want to call on something, but the fear is that they're going to call a charge. We're going to see if we can see him step out of bounds. Shielded there on that corner.
Yeah, I'm okay with those no calls as well, because you want these kids to make plays, and they're forcing the action on a drive. It's hard to punish a defender, like some of those calls we've talked about before. You can be vertical, and it's just they lean in and they get the call anyway. So it's nice to see that as a no call once in a while to reward good defense, because that's not easy to do.
St. Clair up top, Takiulu Akepa. And now Ruckert down the lane, goes at Cox, gets the bump and the bucket, and Ruckert will go the line looking for the three-point play.
This is one that I'd love to see again. I don't know, does Cox
kind of jumped into him there?
You can see that.
I thought he stayed pretty vertical, but
it's not that much different than the other ones. I actually would prefer that not to be a call. It was such a great move, a great finish. He's really shown his toughness since I saw him in the summer. He's really matured a lot. That was a very good finish. That's hard to guard when you're that long.
And that's a freshman.
Yeah,
I mean, that's Dean Ruckert, the freshman.
And now they're going to get the foul on Takiulu Akepa, and it'll be the fifth team foul on the T-Birds. And that's number 4 on Taki.
Right. I would prefer to go back to the first quarter and have a lot less whistles, but I do like how both teams are trying to attack right now.
Well, and the game has changed since. I mean, they haven't made as much shot. They're not making as many shots as they were in that first quarter. When you take the ball out of the net, it just kind of forces that flow, right? As Price knocks down the jumper, and we're back to a one-possession game.
He's shining. He's the guy that doesn't get a lot of offense on a typical night because there's so many other guys. He's got 13 tonight, and 9 of those in the second half.
Yeah, he's special with his quickness, and he does that pull-up right there. He's very good at it. I've seen him play for a long time, and he's very good at that pull-up. And they were definitely nervous about his penetration because they gave him too much room for that 15-foot shot.
10 seconds on the shot clock.
But they've done a good job of getting shots that they want at this end as well. They just haven't knocked down their threes.
Takiulu Akepa misses on the 3, the board and bucket there. And that was number 12, Colton Smith.
First bucket, and it's a big one.
Right, and another missed 3 when they get the shot they want, but they cleaned it up with the offensive rebound.
Kiert doesn't get it. Cox doesn't get the putback. Slapped out by Oliphant, but picked up by Ruckert.
Well, those are shots you got to make, right?
Right. Same thing. Both teams got the offensive rebound, and they just weren't able to convert that one to keep it.
So Timpview
2-point game,
threatening to go up 6. And we saw last night and all day yesterday, these leads down the stretch with the shot clock has changed the game in an amazing, positive way. Because right now we would be running 4 corners and trying to get guys to foul and go shoot free throws for the next 3:15.
For sure.
3 on the way, too strong from St. Clair. Saved in by Ruckert, but right to Price. He's got Rousseau, a little too tall.
Yeah, that's too bad. Well, if you're Timpview, I mean, they really love that draw and kick, but they've been so efficient at getting Rust and Ruckert into the paint after they spread the floor that I really don't. At the end of the game, I don't like just shooting the deep threes for them because I think they've been so good at that. But they've missed them. So for Cottonwood, you're kind of glad it's left to give them a chance.
2:59 left in the fourth quarter. Timpview leading 55-51. We'll come back. You're watching the 2023 5A quarterfinals. And welcome back in, Dusty Litster, Dane Stewart, and the coach Jason Workman, head coach of the Murray Spartans. He too, one of the tenured, so there's the fifth coach now. That's been at the same school since Dane and I started doing games in 2005.
There you go.
There's only 5 of you left, Coach.
I'm surprised there's 5.
They're Matt Barnes, yourself, Mike Maxwell, Jeff Emery, and then that was it, right?
And
Randy McAllister.
And great Jeff is leaving us too.
Jeff's going to be moving on of Viewmont. As a baseline jumper for Rust. Off the side of the window, rebound to Keith McCarr, and he couldn't get that ball off fast enough.
Well, it's the possession they wanted.
Yep.
Defensively for Cottonwood, so we'll see what they do with it.
Rousseau going to drive right to the rim, and it crawls in.
Very good move.
Doesn't matter if it got a lot of rim, it needed to crawl home as we got a one-possession game.
I wonder how tempting that 3 was. And I love this one. No, I got an opportunity at 2. We're going to take it, right?
Well, both of them looked at it, so I was glad that they made that decision.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. You got Taki Ulula-Kepa and Keith McCarr both with 4 fouls going to be guarding each other down this end.
And Timpview has the right guy with the ball, make for decisions.
Taki on the drive, got past the swipe and lays it in.
Yeah, you see that swipe. It's like, oh, no.
Right, and they attacked where they wanted to because we had foul trouble and they didn't want to get another foul.
And Price here's down.
I didn't see what happened to him.
Oh, Coach Miller saying he got held or grabbed or something, but I didn't see it either.
Let's take a look here. See if we got to look at it. Well, he was saying he was fouling Ruckert because he couldn't stand up. And it was a conversation. He was holding Ruckert, trying to get a foul call to stop the game before the bucket.
I was wondering, that must have been why Oliphant kind of stopped instead of coming over to help on that block shot, which is what he does really well on that drive. And I think he must have thought they were calling that foul as well. So that must be the complaint.
So 4-point game, 1:45 left in the fourth. And Price, who's been maybe the most consistent offensive player today for Cottonwood off the floor.
Back to their zone.
Cox sends out. That's Nielsen. Now back to Keith McCarr. Nielsen will pull for 3. He goes in and out, and the rebound taken by Taki Ulua-Kepa.
That's a good shot for them. And with that zone, that was what was available.
He's not a bad 3-point shooter, and he's actually a primetime player. He's the guy who made the kick for Cottonwood this year, Dusty, right? Came up.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The drop kick.
Yeah.
Well, not had to be a drop kick. It was a free kick for the win at Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rule that most of us didn't know.
Dusty knew it.
I did know it.
I believe you.
He had to call a game with it.
Being Bishop Gorman. And the only reason I remembered is I remembered a Sunday morning countdown with Chris Berman talking about the fair catch rule. But that puts Taki Ulua-Kepa at the line. Front end of 1-on-1. It hits the first. He can make it a 6-point game. As Price is going to come back on. Maybe got spatted up or something there.
Cottonwood, the only one-loss team in boys basketball this year.
Only one loss.
Only one loss.
That was a special season for them.
So
they got some fight left in them, but it was a very special year for those guys.
And he goes 1 of 2, does Taki. And back down the floor, 5-point game. Coach Miller going to take the timeout. 1:13 left in the fourth quarter in a 5-point game. Full timeout. We'll be right back. .113 left in the ball game. Cottonwood hanging on to hopes, trailing by 5. And is this where you're killing your playbook, coach? You're like, hey, we're running our best play.
Right. Back to man for Timpview. So we'll see. Oh, here's the same play they ran. They got the slip on. Now we go for the 3.
Kirith McCarr goes off the iron and out of bounds. Great look. Just didn't get it to drop.
Great execution. I mean, they usually run that for Rousseau, so it's kind of a twist that they ran that for Kirith on that, but it's a wide open look.
And the 3 ball just has not been there for Cottonwood.
No.
Just continues to be a struggle.
And to be truthful, it hasn't been there for either team.
Yeah.
Well, Timpview shot it much better
earlier. Yeah. I think that, but they've won the game with the offensive rebounding and driving, in my opinion.
Jump ball. Not going to give it, but the ball will stay here with Timpview.
Right.
With 54 seconds to go. So alternating possession will go to Cottonwood on the next dual possession. As Taki Lulu Kepa.
Like you said before, the shot clock has been great for the whole fourth quarter has changed so much. It probably hasn't affected the game overall as much as we would like to think, but the end of games has sure been massively affected.
So much better. Oh my heavens, so much better. As Cottonwood could not get to Taki, is now the foul finally given by Rousseau. Going to put Taki at the line for 1-and-1, as that is the 9th team foul on Cottonwood, so it'll be the final 1-and-1, which is a rule that cannot be touched. I love the 1-and-1.
Me too,
Right.
Coach.
Absolutely. Why? I don't know why you would mess with that.
There's talks of getting rid of it, like in college basketball. I think that's nonsense.
Right.
It's like rules committees need a committee just a committee.
Yeah, they'll come up with something. Somebody will get a raise for changing the rule, but it's not. But yeah, some things you don't want to mess with.
And Taki calmly knocks down the front end. And he'll have one more.
Okay, you ready for a fun fact?
I love fun facts.
According to my unofficial stats, Taki's the only player to score in every quarter.
Makes sense. You could have told me his last name was Nakua, and I would totally buy it. The hair and everything, and now that the swag, but he misses on the second. So door's still open here. Cottonwood can only stop the clock once. Because remember, the clock will not stop with a made bucket as Kirith McCarr gets there. Coach Miller now takes the timeout. So a 6-second difference between game clock and shot clock as he takes the timeout. Coach, I want to get your thoughts on how to handle timeouts. Early, post, late, because I'm now becoming more and more like football. Hanging on to all my timeouts to end-of-game situations. So that you have, especially in high school, when the clock does not stop on a made bucket, to be able to stop the clock to get chances for possessions.
Right, and for the most part, I agree with that. I very rarely, I'll try and use if I have to use a timeout early, I'll use a 30 second timeout, and you try and save them as much as you can. If I have to call 2 timeouts in the first half, it's abnormal, and it's because we really, really need it. And game's going to be over by the time we get in the second half anyway. So I do like to keep them, especially with our high school rules. It's very advantageous to have 3 in your pocket when you go into the fourth quarter.
The weirdest ones to me is after made 3 in a 5-1 run, you take a timeout. I've never understood the science behind that.
Right, and we've done that in the past, but usually only if you see incredible fatigue or some special reason that you need to do it.
Ruckert sends that ball ahead. St. Clair tracks it down, and Cox will come over, give the foul. It'll go to Rousseau or Cox. It's going to put St. Clair at the line for 2 free throws. We go in the double bonus, and the foul does go to Rousseau.
Well, Inga's done a good job coaching these guys against that pressure because, a lot of teams right there, you'll hold the ball for somebody who want to get fouled, so you'll play out of a trap. They did a good job of having patience, but advancing the ball, just making the right easy play to get fouled. That was a good job by Timpview.
Oh, and the first off the mark here for St. Clair.
Patience still alive.
Yes, it is. Leaving the door open here for Cottonwood. Again, Colts have 1 timeout left. The only way they can stop the clock other than fouls here in the final 33 seconds. And St. Clair goes 1 of 2. So 5-point game. Don't have to hurry and put up the 3. Just need a bucket. As Kirith drives the lane, leaves it on the opposite side there to Oliphant. Sends out to Price for 3. Short, and the rebound tracked down by Timpview. And St. Clair is going to draw the foul there on Oliphant. Or no, he said stepped out of bounds.
Which is crazy because Oliphant tried to keep him in bounds. Did you see him reach out and try to keep him put to the bench?
We get any kind of view, and we're a little late there.
Yeah,
Preston.
That's a hard one to take if you're Coach Engel. It's like, well, he didn't go out of bounds on his own, did he?
As Kirith falls away, can't get it. Rebound to Villa.
Yeah, you're going to get a foul, yeah.
Right.
And that's going to take us to the other end with 13 seconds. Still same situation, though, because if he goes 1 and 2, the door's still open. It'll be a 6-point game with 1 timeout left.
13 seconds makes it extremely more difficult, obviously, but yes, the same situation.
Shooting 2 shots, Kazan Vila.
So Kazan Vila to the line.
Now you're definitely looking at it has to be a 3 instead of going to the rim.
Back rims the first. So Slim is out the door. None, not quite there yet.
And the ever-dreaded pre-victory chant.
Yeah.
And they just take the timeout.
They just took the timeout, so
Before the shot, okay.
I mean, I'm not a math guy. Dane is a data guy.
60-second timeout.
If that's the final timeout, this game's over.
It's not.
Well, okay, Cottonwood hits a 3. Timmy does not then inbound the ball.
Yes, they do.
Depends on the time.
Well,
left
depends
on the clock.
how fast they get it,
fast
right?
they
Yeah,
get
I
them
mean,
going.
you basically you can't pass the basketball. You got to come up, take a shot, hit it.
Okay, but here's
to
the deal.
force them to inbound it.
This isn't the NBA. We're not advancing the ball to midcourt, so you got to come up full court.
Well, they'll have side out because they had the ball.
They're down here.
They're down here.
You're right.
well,
They would have to run a.
They rebounded the basketball. Well, I guess if he's saying they take the timeout
if it's below the free throw line, though, if it's below the free throw line,
Yeah.
they have
No,
to
I
take
was
it
thinking
in
that they
the
had
line.
got it up before, but
Yeah.
they.
I don't think
So
they did.
if you're Timpview, if I'm Izino, hey, full court pressure. We're going to make him bring the ball up the floor with pressure, not fouling.
You got to guard him up here.
Yeah,
correct.
guard him up front,
Keep
make
him
him
in
eat the
front of
clock, no matter what they do. There's no way to stop it.
Because the only way to really accomplish this now would be to throw deep. You have to throw to at least half court from the inbounds to be able to shoot a 3 with the time left.
Because it's got to be through the basket, and I'm going to say 6 seconds because, that ball can. I don't know how on it they are when
Right.
there's 5 and change.
It's hard to do without throwing the ball deep here. That's
Here comes Price with 10. Price down the lane, sends out to Kira for 3.
And that is the game.
And can't get it. Olphins tip up, no, gets it back, and it rimmed out. Russo does have the putback, but that will do it. Timpview advances on to the semifinals with a 60-57 win over the Cottonwood Colts. And what's been a special year for Cottonwood. Coach, your thoughts on what we saw today, and we'll get Dane's thoughts in a selection of a player of the game.
Well, I thought it was a very well coached game and executed. Obviously, both teams won't be happy with their shooting. The shots didn't fall for either team, but I thought they both tried to do what they wanted to do. I was very impressed with Timpview's offensive attack and how they're able to create those shots. I think the year for Cottonwood has been absolutely special, and I mean, for a school that hasn't had that sort of success, to only have come into this game with 1 loss, they had an incredible special year with a great group of talented guys. I'm happy for Coach Engel. I know that he's done a great job this time of year, like I said before, but it also has been a few years since he's gone farther like this, and I think he deserves it. And he's got a good group of guys, and they've got a lot of length and size. Obviously they're 3-point shooters, but their size is what's going to help them create difficulties for people.
And Dane, your final thoughts as section of player of the game.
Well, great balance for Timpview, 4 players in double figures. No Cottonwood Colt had more than 14 tonight. So the defense was locked in for Timpview, and the offense, timely shooting, timely plays. I'm going to go with Taki as my player of the game. His second half was huge. Again, kind of paced them throughout. Played fantastic. Best game I've seen of him this year. So, Taki, my player of the game.
Again, our final score: Timpview 60, Cottonwood 57. Our Heinemann Associates player of the game: Taki Ulu Ilakepa. And I want to thank Coach Jason Workman for joining us, and for Vince Francis, Dane Stewart, Coach Jason Workman. I'm Dusty Lister. Thanks for joining us, for watching KSL Sports Rewind's coverage of the 2023 5A quarterfinals. Timpview moving on. Final quarterfinal game of the boys' side coming up next. Orem and Lehigh here from the D-Event Center. We'll be right back.